a country with 97% literacy rate, a country where there's free education, a country with free healthcare for all its 22 million citizens, the country with the highest number of cars per head per capita in Southeast Asia. The same country is facing a 13-hour electricity blackout. Military troops have been stationed to ration fuel. More than that, they're not even able to import the necessary ink and paper for their children, so that the exams have been postponed indefinitely. The same country's currency has devalued by more than 200% against the dollar. So it actually got me thinking, what got the country here? Welcome on board to my channel. Here is 5 for 5. So for starters, the problem actually is with the economics in the way the policies are framed. First, historically, Sri Lanka has been a welfare-based economy. His policies are revolved around welfare schemes. So nothing wrong with the welfare schemes per se, such as providing free healthcare, free education. But most of the problems are actually compounded because there are no means to fund those welfare schemes. So as a result of which, they'll end up taking huge loans from foreign institutions, and there's no proper arrangement to actually repay those loans. Most of these funds are used for welfare schemes and not for industrialization, due to which there's no proper infrastructure. Infrastructure. The tax collection is not very strong, and most of the money is being spent on subsidies. In fact, 1/3 of all the money was spent on subsidies back 2 or 3 decades before. So this is how all the policies are actually framed in Sri Lanka, with welfare occupying the central scheme without giving due consideration to industrialization. I come to the second point, is the Easter bombings. So it happened in September, August of 2019, and it killed 259 people. That was a blow to the tourism industry. Sri Lanka is heavily dependent on tourism. Almost about 10% of all its revenues come from tourism. Moreover, it actually changed the landscape of the Sri Lankan politics. So, for instance, the Rajapaksa's government actually came into picture post the 2019 bombings because the incumbent government actually failed to take necessary measures to block the Easter bombings, even after having credible information. So, because of the Rajapaksa's government, as soon as it came to power, all it did was appoint all its cousins, family members, and give them key cabinet post. So much so that it is called the Rajapaksa's enterprise. It has outdone almost every country in the world in terms of dynastic politics. All the key portfolios are held by Rajapaksa's government. Which gets me to the third point, is that the policies that they have come up with have actually totally decimated the economy. So the policies, I talk about two policies for starters. So one is that they decreased the VAT from 15% to 8%. At the time when there was COVID pandemic and the tourism sector had taken a backseat, due to which the government's revenues had dried up. Secondly, they tried putting their hands on organic farming in a complete autocratarian way of doing it in a year or so. That resulted in Sri Lanka's economy to totally collapse. So Sri Lanka has three main export industries. One is tea, rubber, and plantation. So once these three were affected, because organic farming cannot have such large produce that can be brought in with fertilizers, that actually curtailed all the foreign reserves that they could have got in advance. And I finally come to the fifth point, which is the Russia-Ukraine war. So Sri Lanka is an energy-dependent economy. It imports 20%, all its 20% of foreign reserves of foreign currency actually goes in paying for all of these dollars, for all of these energy needs that they have. Now, since the oil prices have been soaring close to about $110, $115, $120 because of the uncertainty and the war that's happening in Russia-Ukraine, these things have brought Sri Lanka at this place. So that was 5 for 5. Thank you for watching.